Hi students, I'm here to give you some help for this question, which is quite a bit more complicated than the previous one. Okay, so the key phrase in this preamble, okay, based on the question is labor productivity growth fell to 1%. Now the rest of the preamble is more about policies, which is actually part B of this question, but we are not going to do that for you. Okay, so looking at the question, alright, challenges in the labor market. You may be wondering, what are the challenges? Now, given that you're new to this, alright, we don't expect you to know too much contextual information yet, but you should be reading up on your own eventually. So for now, the challenges in the labor market, you just refer to the preamble information, which you should be doing anyway, even if you know a lot. Okay, always address the preamble information first before you bring in your outside knowledge. Okay, and the rest of it is your objective, which is your sustained growth. So to recall, sustained growth essentially means actual growth, okay, increasing in tandem with potential growth. Alright, so actual growth increasing in tandem with potential growth. Now looking at the challenge in the labor market, which is your labor productivity growth rate falling to 1%, okay, by the way, take note that falling to 1% is not a decrease in the labor productivity, but a slower increase. Okay, so don't fall into that trap. Under exam conditions, sometimes you read too quickly and you think that, oh, growth rate fell to 1% means a decline in labor productivity. Okay, unless the growth rate is negative, alright? If not, as long as the growth rate is positive, there's still an improvement, but at a slower rate. Okay, so let's recall what potential growth is. When you see productivity, you should be thinking of the potential growth. Alright, because potential growth is essentially your LRAS, which is essentially determined by your 4 factors of production, namely capital, alright, C, E, enterprise or entrepreneurship, LL, land, labor. Okay, so you should know this acronym by now, CELL, CEL, which is your capital, enterprise, land and labor. Okay, so in this case, labor productivity seems to be talking about labor, obviously. Alright, and you can park it under quality of labor. Alright, so note that, again, this is not saying that the labor productivity fell. It is just increasing at a slower rate. So the impact on the LRAS should look something like this. Okay, that the LRAS increases, alright, it still increases, ceteris paribus, okay, it still increases but at a slower rate. So visually you draw a narrow increase. Okay, at the same time, okay, again, ceteris paribus, assuming the AD continues increasing at a decent rate, okay, you may have problems, okay, with the general price level, which is increasing a lot more, okay, than your national output. Okay, this kind of situation, we generally call it demand pull inflation, or in extreme cases, overheating. Okay, you learn more about this in your inflation chapter, but you should also realize that the very reason we want to have sustained economic growth is to avoid this kind of overheating situation. Alright, so this will be the main part of the essay. Of course, you have to explain all the details and so on and so forth. Okay, another possible point for this will be based on the actual growth, but it's based on the SRAS. Now, so given that the productivity, okay, has only increased by 1%, okay, chances are your wage increase might outstrip your productivity increase. When that happens, okay, this will lead to an increase in unit cost of production. Okay, so now we're talking about likelihood here, and actually if you know the context, this is actually happening. Okay, especially with stuff like the restriction of foreign worker growth rate in Singapore and so on and so forth. Alright, so if you don't know this, now it's time to learn. Okay, it's time to read up also. So when there's an increase in cost of production, we have a corresponding decrease in SRAS. Okay, so you draw the diagram and show what happens to the X and Y axis. Alright, generally with these 2 points, it should be enough for this essay for now. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something.